Hello and welcome back to the Knitting Page podcast. If you're new here, my name's Paige and I am the face behind the Knitting Page. So I'm really hoping that the background noise isn't too much. I am living with some roommates and obviously we all share this space, and so I'm in my room, I have the door closed, but I'm in the basement, you can hear footsteps above, and I'm just hoping that the background noise isn't too much. Otherwise I will be re-recording this on a different day. But let's cross our fingers that it's good enough and I can click the reduce background noise in iMovie and hope that it is reduced. Okay, so month of September. Can't believe it's already the middle of October. The month of September I spent my time adjusting to my new life, which meant little time for YouTube and social media, which honestly, I enjoyed the break, but I'm so excited to be back. I'm happy to have recultivated that knitting mojo, and I'm happy to say that I feel like I have a nice balance between work, training, and knitting in my after work life. I have knocked out a few accessories recently, which I talked about in my last podcast and I will talk about in my next podcast video. But today I do not have a podcast for you. Today I have my 3-2-1 series. And I skipped the 3-2-1 in September because of everything that went on of me having this new life. But I really love this format. I love finding new patterns, new designers. I love it when you guys share things with me. And so we're back. When we got the October 3-2-1. And so to start off, let's get straight to it. Also, before I actually get straight to it, I just want to say, if you are new to this format, it is a format where I talk about 3 designers. That's a lie. I talk about 3 patterns, 2 designers, and 1 yarn that I am loving this month. And so it wouldn't be October, or should I say Socktober, without talking about a sock pattern. And so if you see me looking over this way, it's because that's where I have my computer and I have Ravelry pulled up. And this first pattern I'm super excited about because it is a sock and it is free. So this wonderful sock pattern is called the Cozy Autumn Socks, and it is by This Handmade Life. And I feel like This Handmade Life is kind of iconic in the sock world. They post these pattern bundles with 6 different socks and they have different themes. I know Amy from Knits is working through one of the pattern bundles from This Handmade Life, but the Cozy Autumn Socks are this beautiful cabled pattern. They have, I want to say it's like a cable lace pattern. I downloaded it, but I haven't yet, because it is free, I downloaded it, and I haven't yet opened up the PDF to see the exact charted pattern. But it's this gorgeous repeat that goes from the cuff of the sock down till where you do the toe, with the bottom of the foot being plain stockinette, and it looks like it's doing a slip stitch heel, I believe is what it's called. Anyways, they're these gorgeous socks. I feel like, so for me, one of my reflections with socks is I still have a Sorry Northland sock that is only halfway through the cuff that is absolutely gorgeous, but I feel like when I knit socks, I want them to be relatively mindless and they don't have to be full plain stockinette. I currently have a pair of ribbed socks on the go, but I want them to be a repetitive pattern so that I can not have to think about what I'm doing or constantly be checking a chart. And I feel like these oh my goodness, these Cozy Autumn Socks totally fit that bill. They have the same repeat throughout the entire sock. It doesn't look too complicated. Of course, if you've ever knit cables before, I remember being so intimidated. Oh my goodness, I cannot speak. I remember being so intimidated by cables when I first started knitting, and then I knit my first cable sweater and I was like, that's it? I just kind of pull them off to the side, knit a couple, and then knit the ones I just pulled to the side. Whoa, way easier than they look. And so I think these Cozy Autumn Socks would be a wonderful repetitive knit that just gives a bit of a bit of a sha. I don't know what the word I'm trying to think of, but just a bit of an elevated sock, so that, if you had sticking out of a cute pair of Blundstones, Docks, I feel like the Bostons, like the Birkenstock Bostons, or I just ordered a pair of like these oh my goodness, these Doc Martens that have like, they're like the Birkenstock Bostons, but they're different, and the name is slipping my head off. The name is slipping out of my head at this very moment. Whew. Take a breath. You got this. I feel like these socks would be so cute to kind of like just make your outfit go to that next level. The yarn that is used in the sample is like a little variegated, and so I think you could get away with a variegated yarn. I think it would look super cute in a speckled yarn or just in a solid color. For my own personal taste, I like to save my highly variegated yarns for either ribs or just plain old vanilla stockinette. But I feel like this sock is one that I would like to start on after I finish the pair that I currently have on my needles. And a little aside, but I am doing 2 at a time socks for the first time, and I am obsessed. Like, I think I've been converted to do 2 at a time because there's no second sock syndrome, which second sock syndrome affects me very, very well. So these are knit with fingering sock weight because they're a fingering weight sock. They are knit on 2.25 millimeter needles, and I believe they come in 2 sizes, one with a 60 stitch circumference and one with a 72 stitch circumference. The pattern only comes in English, but I think that they are a great pattern. I would really love to knit them. I think they're going to scratch that itch of giving me a textured sock without it having to be too much memorization. And I believe they are also knit cuff down. Yes. So they are knit cuff down. Sorry, I was just reading through. And I feel like it's a pretty vetted pattern. There are 1,037 projects on Ravelry, soon to be 1,038 once I cast mine on. But I think that they look like a great cozy sock, as mentioned, and I couldn't do a 3-2-1 in October without putting in at least one sock pattern. So the Cozy Autumn socks are that sock pattern. It's a free pattern, so feel free to join me in knitting these socks, or feel free to pick a different sock pattern for the month of October, or any other month for that. So that is my first pattern. The second pattern that I want to talk about, I feel like I am a mittens girl. It's funny, I haven't actually knit myself a pair of mittens, but I love mittens. I have Raynaud's, which is a circulatory issue where I have poor circulation in my extremities, so my feet and my hands get very cold very easily. And so I'm always looking for mitten patterns. I feel like I like to do a few gift knits where I just want to keep things quite simple so they're mindless and I can just pluck them out or pump them out, that's the word. But I also do like mittens with just like a bit of an elevated look to them, and I found like the perfect mittens, and they are the Földelsedag, I believe is how you say it. Földelsedag, let me check.
Földelsedag.
Földelsedag mittens, which means birthday mittens, and they are by the Swedish designer Linda Fridholm, and they are these gorgeous mittens that came out this year, September 2023. I should mention that the Cozy Autumn socks from before came out September 2018, but the Földelsedag mittens are these gorgeous mittens with this beautiful simple lace motif down the front of the mitten. They are knit in unspun yarn, and so Linda suggests either using this Swedish unspun yarn, which I'm gonna try to pronounce Mohair Knitwear. I think it's the Knitwear yarn, which is what the yarn that Knitting Traditions talks about. She also suggests Wool Dreamers Manchalopi, and as well as what's the Plutalopi by Iztek. She has a whole bunch of different samples in a variety of different colors. I think they look absolutely gorgeous. I think because of the lace, they would also be a great mitten for fall because they would provide some aeration with the eyelets, but while also providing warmth with the wool. I feel like you could definitely also do these mittens in something that's not an unspun yarn. They have a 20 stitch gauge, so anything DK would work. They're knit on 4.5 and 4mm needles, probably 4mm for the cuffs and 4.5mm for the body of the mitten. I think they're gorgeous. I don't remember if I said, but Földelsedag, wait, let me try it again. Földelsedag means birthday in Swedish, and this was a pattern that Linda created out of the pressure of having a birthday come up and not knowing what to knit someone, so she designed these gorgeous mittens, and I feel like they would be the perfect gift knit if you wanted to add a little flair for someone while also keeping it relatively small and keeping it to an accessory at a relatively large gauge. 4.5mm needles, 20 stitches isn't crazy. And I just think that they're absolutely gorgeous. I am a sucker for like a heathered yarn, and a lot of the unspun yarns do have just that nice depth of color with the heathering. And they have a special place in my heart. So I'm hoping to cast these on at some point. I really do love mittens, and it's funny, I feel like it's the one thing I actually need right now. I have been trying to go for runs before work in the morning, and the mornings here are nice and crisp and cool. And I just have some store-bought mittens, but I feel like it'll be so nice just to run in my own hand-knit mittens and give my knitwear some utility, as well as use up some of the scraps and random single or two 50-gram skeins that I have while creating some beautiful mittens. And so the Földelsedag mittens are my second pattern, and I'm also excited to explore some more of Linda's patterns. I quickly looked through her Ravelry store, and there are just some beautiful patterns. These mittens, though, I wanted a quick accessory, and I feel like, to me, mittens are such a great such a great accessory to knit for someone, because I feel like they're a little less size dependent or picky than, say, a hat. I don't know, I feel like a lot of people in hats, everyone's head size is a little different and you want it to fit right, and some people are particular about the color they have around their face or the way they like to style their hats. Anyways, I feel like a good pair of hand knit mittens will always be loved and used because people want to keep their hands warm, and I feel like people are less picky about what they have on their hands versus what they have on their head. Total aside. But I also have this love for Sweden based off that's where my grandpa was from when I was going to go teach in Sweden. So when I saw that it was a Swedish designer and got to learn a new word, that Földelsedag means birthday in Swedish, so Duolingo didn't get me that far yet, but I absolutely love these mittens. We'll be casting them on. Okay, so that was my second pattern. My third pattern is, I have been obsessed with stripes recently. I feel like a lot of the button-up shirts I am drawn towards are like pinstripe button-up shirts, and I also feel like you can kind of see it, but I have this slipover that I made as a like a shout out, a nod to my alma mater where I did my Bachelor of Education. I did it in the Queen's colors, but I really have been craving a striped sweater, and I really love the Abbey sweater by Sandnes Garn. I think that there are a lot of great details in that sweater, but the Sandnes Garn booklets aren't readily available where I am. You can buy them from local yarn stores, which I have done, and I actually just ordered that 22021 with like the Abbey Genser and the, what's it called? That maybe it's the Abbey slipover, like that classic, the one with the ties slipover. Anyways, totally offside, but I really, really love that whatever the Sandnes Garn sweater is with the stripes. I know Knitting Traditions knit one in like that beautiful lilac hand-dyed yarn and some white. I just think it looks so cute. And I'm forgetting the name, but there's a girl I follow on Instagram and she knit this super cute cardigan, but she did like a little pink contrast cuff cast off edge, and it looked so cute. And so there were like a few details that I really enjoyed in a few different pieces, and I found a sweater that met all of them. Another detail I've been enjoying is a split seam. And anyways, let me just tell you the name of this pattern. This is the Sweater with Stripes, and it is by Woolsmith Knitwear. And it is this gorgeous striped sweater. It has a split hem. It has the contrast cast on edge and cast off edges on the collar, the body hem, and the sleeve hems. I love the little details in this. I'm just pulling up some of the photos. I've been craving stripes, and here's a striped sweater. The little details, absolutely love. I think that this sweater is like very Stockholm style-esque, and one that I could see myself easily wearing in my professional life and in my casual life, which is why I was so drawn to it. I believe it is let me just see. Yes, it's a drop shoulder construction. So it's funny, I used to not love drop shoulder constructions because I just didn't love the purling. But I do find that with a drop shoulder, everything comes together so nicely, and by the time you get all of your stitches on one needle, you're working in the round, which I just find stockinette in the round, I don't know, I have a special place for it in my heart. And I love stripes. I find that the like drive to get to the next stripe has always motivated me. One thing with this is that the size range is only the 5 size range, going from extra small to extra large with, let me just check so a finished bust circumference from 91 centimeters to 132 centimeters. And there is a suggested positive ease of 15 to 21 centimeters. So you're pretty classic styles, maybe a smidge smaller than some. I think it only goes up to an 115 centimeter bust if you were to have it on that smaller range of positive ease. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. It is knit at an Aran weight. It is 19 stitches per 25 rows, knit on 3.75 millimeters for the ribbing and 4.5 millimeters for the body of the sweater. The sample is knit in Földelsedag Peruvian Highland wool, and it comes in English, Korean, and Swedish. And I think that this is just a nice alternative to, like, you could do the Marseille sweater and not do the split hem, but it's just a nice alternative to a lot of the big designers' striped sweaters. Obviously, those sweaters are classics for a reason. They do a great job at producing the patterns, but if you want to try something a little different, support a smaller designer, there are only 10 projects on Ravelry. The sweater came out this year in May 2023, and I don't know, I think I have the Aran weight in the brown and the white that I was going to knit the Lyon sweater in, and I think I'm going to knit it in this sweater with stripes instead, because I don't know, there's something about it's like a funnel neck, I want to say, like there's no folded collar. It's also, there's no folded collar that's sewn down, and there's no folded collar that is like the turtleneck style. And I think that the single layer I find really nice to wear and just not have that bulk, especially if I was wearing it inside while teaching. I just find I have one sweater with the folded turtleneck style, and I love it. I mostly wear it as like an outerwear piece rather than an inside piece because it can just get so hot. And so I feel like this will be nice. Let's just not have so much weight around my neck. And yeah, it looks absolutely wonderful. It uses 1,100 to 1,500 meters of yarn. And I just think it is a nice play on a classic striped sweater with, again, some of those details that I have been craving and really admiring recently put into one garment. So I don't have to do any modifications myself, I just get to follow the pattern, so very in love with this. Okay, so those were my 3 patterns. The cozy autumn socks, the Földelsedag mittens, I was like, how do you say it? And the sweater with stripes. So, now, 2 designers I have been loving. The first designer is one that was suggested to me by a viewer either here on YouTube or also on Instagram. I can't remember exactly where, but it is the designer Wool and Beyond. And so she is a Scandinavian knitwear designer, or I guess Wool and Beyond is a Scandinavian knitwear brand. It's based in Malmö, I hope I'm saying that right, Malmö, Sweden. So again, a lot of that Scandinavian style is influenced in here. She has a variety of different types of patterns, which I absolutely love, you know, from accessories to garments to cute little sets. Just some very gorgeous, beautiful designs. I feel like one that recently got like shared a lot, I saw it a lot on my Instagram, was the simple summer shorts. It's just a cute pair of shorts, and as they sound, they are the simple summer shorts. Simple stockinette. The one top style that I absolutely love that she has is the shell tee, and I believe it's the shell top. Let me just double check. The shell tee and the shell shirt, and it's like this nice oversized, like kind of, I want to say peasant style top with these cute little I-cord ties to close up the little keyhole at the front. I like the detail that the square has at the front. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. I think both of them I could see myself wearing quite easily, and I would love to make one or the other, if not both. The other design that I really love, I guess there's 2 designs that I really love. One is the Lonely Leftovers vest. I know that ATP Knitwear, Anna, I think she knit the Lonely Leftovers vest, and again, it's just like such a fun way to play with your leftovers and give it some utility as a garment. I think the I-cord edging is just absolutely gorgeous, and I feel like the I-cord edging is something that kind of goes throughout a decent number of her designs. Seems like she has I-cords incorporated like in the shell tee and the shell shirt. She has in the Lonely Leftovers vest. She has the cutest little slippers that are only available in like in Scandinavian languages, but it's a free pattern, and so I was like, these are so cute. I think my mom would love them, and B, I think I would love them, and I think it would be a nice way to use up some random amounts of yarn that I have. Google Translate, if you don't speak either, you can translate the pattern yourself. Obviously it's not perfect and you have to do some, like, I think that's what they mean, but if you really want to knit them like I do, Google Translate is going to be your friend. Again, I know some Norwegian and I know some Swedish. I haven't been practicing recently, so it's a little rusty, but I quickly copied and pasted them into Google Translate and I could understand more or less what to do. So, love those patterns, love the little slippers, love that they're free. But she also has like, I don't exactly know how to say it, but like I'm gonna go with thin skirt and thin sweater. It's like 3 T's, or like 2 T's then the word thin for the skirt and the sweater, and I love the set. I especially love the skirt. I feel like this thin skirt is like very mainstream fashion right now. I know I really love like a mini skirt and a blazer, or a mini skirt and like an oversized sweater, and I just love playing with those different proportions and having like the little skirt with something nice and big and oversized. I don't know, I absolutely love it, and I was literally just reflecting on this as I was about to sit down and film, and I have this sweater, which is the Mohair tie jacket, and I love it, but I really wanted a green, like I want a green skirt to go with it, And I was like, why don't I just knit the thin skirt to match my awesome sweater that I made? And I think I kind of want to experiment whether I knit the thin skirt or I just go and do my own thing, but with like a gingham style skirt, because I really love patterns for my skirt with like something plain on top. And I feel like a gingham style skirt, like I knit the gingham pouch and absolutely love that. I feel like that would just be so cute. So that is on my like, it's chilling up here. But honestly, I'm just scrolling through her Ravelry page right now, and I love everything that she makes. She also makes things for babies and adults. I'm looking at this one, and there is the Stripes Galore bandana, and it is so stinking cute. It just plays with stripes in a way I've never seen stripes played with, and I don't know, I feel like right now I just have like this huge spot in my heart for stripes, and yeah, I'm loving it. It has like horizontal and vertical stripes. It just looks so cute. I think she's using a cotton yarn for it, but you could probably use any yarn. It's a sport size weight. So fun. So fun. A lot of cute little hats, a few cute little shirts, just like very fun designs that I feel like a lot of them you don't see other places. Like Wool and Beyond does a great job at providing knitwear styles that are contemporary and staples that aren't what Petite Knit and My Favorite Things Knitwear are doing. Absolutely obsessed with it. A lot of great styles. So I highly suggest checking out Wool and Beyond. Again, I feel like there's something for everyone because there's stuff for little ones, there's accessories. There's nothing that looks specifically catered to someone that is male or a more masculine presenting, aside from like a few basic hats. There's no oh, that's a lie. There's one sweater, man sweater. But absolutely love everything that they do. So, Wool and Beyond, that is the first designer. The second designer is Greta Mensen, and she is a Dutch knitwear designer who lives on the North Sea coast, and all of her patterns, or at least most of her patterns, are influenced by the sea and by sands and by sand and by nature, and I love it. If you're new here, if you're a returning viewer, a little reminder, but my undergraduate degree is in water resource science, and so anything that has to do with the water I am instantly drawn towards. And I came across Greta's design by actually going to my local yarn store, Yarnet, and someone had test knit one of her shawls and it was on display, and it was just these beautiful cables that looked like ripples on the beach, and I was like, that is gorgeous, who is it? And they were like, oh, it's Greta Mensen. And I was like, I gotta look her up. And so I believe she mostly does accessories. As I'm scrolling through her Ravelry pages, I'm seeing a lot of shawls and scarves with a few hats and cowls sprinkled in, but she is mostly a shawl designer and her shawls are gorgeous. She also mostly only knits in this like coastal muted colorway with a lot of grays and gray blues and bluey white and colors that I am usually drawn to. Despite what I've recently knit, I just feel like blues and grays are like my neutrals rather than black. And anyways, her designs are just absolutely gorgeous. Do a great job at playing with texture. And as someone that loves the environment and that loves water, I just love seeing those motifs pictured through knitwear and creating that art through knitwear and through fiber and through your own, I don't know, it's just absolutely gorgeous to me. And as I don't know, I know there's a few teachers that watch this, and I don't know if your school is like the school I am teaching at, but my school is quite large, And I feel like every section of the school is at a different temperature. And so there'll be some where I'm like sweating in a t-shirt. And then I go to the lunch hall and I sit down and eat and I'm literally freezing. And I just feel like having a nice shawl in a neutral color is going to be such a nice addition to like keep in my office, so that I can throw on my shawl or like have it wear as a blanket in the lunch hall. Like just have the shawl's wonderful versatility of being a blanket or a wrap or a scarf without having to commit to wearing a sweater all day, and just having that, like, maybe I also have a sweater in the winter and I just want that added warmth of having a shawl on, but then I go to the one section of the school where I teach my Forces of Nature class, and then that section of the school is very warm, and so maybe I take off the shawl and I leave it on my chair and I can just wear my cardigan or whatnot. But I'm not a shawl knitter. I've never knit a shawl. I've cast on a shawl and frogged it, but I want to knit one of Greta's shawl. I think that the ode to the ocean is just oh so wonderful, and I want to support her and her beautiful shawls and pick a relatively repetitive pattern and knit myself one of these gorgeous sea-inspired shawls that I can throw on, wear as my blanket, and just have as a nice kind of temperature regulator for the winter months at a school that has old sections and new sections and temperatures all over the place. So Greta Mensen is my second designer, and yeah, I'm not a shawl knitter, but I'm gonna knit one of hers and I'm excited for it. I'm also, I feel like a nice like light gray or even like an off-white cream, just that is really easy to go with lots of things, is gonna be what I'm going for with this shawl. And there's just so many gorgeous ones to choose from. I'm very excited. I was just looking for this one that I saw. The Dunes shawl. I feel like that's the one I want to knit, and I honestly want to knit it in like a colorway that she has. It just looks so pretty. Absolutely gorgeous. Great job, Greta, on all your designs. You're probably not watching this, but if you are, great job. Okay. And so, those are my two designers. Wool and Beyond and Greta Mensen. Now for the yarn that I am excited to work with. The yarn that I'm excited to work with is Isager Silk Mohair. And, one second. So this was a yarn that I was kindly gifted by Isager and Ulla Knitwear to knit the sand pillow. And I'm gonna swatch for it ASAP. But I believe my needles are currently occupied. But I feel like I've only heard positive things about the Isager Silk Mohair, and it is at a relatively expensive price point compared to like Knitting for Olive or especially like Drops or some of the other go-to mohairs. But this is one that I've been wanting to knit with for forever, and I finally get my chance to knit with it, and it has been kindly sponsored. So this is the yarn. If you've knit with it, and I literally haven't heard anyone say anything bad about Isager Silk Mohair, even just touching it, it just feels so soft, and I'm excited to have this pillow on my bed and make knit pieces, a knit home accessory, something that I won't have to wear, but I can have my rest against it while I read my book, and then probably throw it off my bed when I go to sleep, or knock it off my bed when I go to sleep. But very excited to use this yarn, and I feel like there's a lot of people that are kind of like over mohair, but I feel like when I started knitting, I was so frugal, I didn't really allow myself to knit double-stranded anything, because I was like, why would you pay double the amount for a sweater when you can just not knit with mohair? But I really do love, like, my April cardigan with the mohair is definitely my most worn knitwear piece, and I absolutely love it. And yes, it's warm, but I don't know, the little fuzzy halo I love. And I'm also someone that is thankfully not very sensitive to any fibers, so the added warmth, the added fuzz, the added softness that the mohair provides, I absolutely love. And so I'm very excited to work with this. And depending on how it goes, I may have to splurge and treat myself to a sweater's quantity at a later date, maybe as a Christmas present to myself or something like that. I am also curious to know if there are other mohair brands that you are interested in. I'm excited to knit with mohair, and yeah, I do have some pieces that are mohair free, but I'm still here for mohair. I still love it, and part of that's probably because I am very non-sensitive to fibers. I feel like I can have like a nice rustic wool thing right up here by my face or on my forehead and not be irritated by it. So really do love the mohair, and I'm excited to have this cute little yellow fluffy pillow. So that was my October 321. My 3 patterns: the cozy autumn socks, the Földelsedag mittens, let me just go back, make sure I'm saying it right. Földelsedag, yep, Földelsedag mittens, and the sweater with stripes are the 3 patterns. Wool and Beyond and Greta Mensen are the 2 designers. And the one yarn that I am loving this month and that I actually get to knit with is the Isager silk mohair. It is one that I've had my eye on since I heard about mohair and that you could add it, but have never tried it, and now is my chance. So thank you Illa Knitwear and Isager for sponsoring this test knit. So excited to knit with it. And till next time, I will see you. Bye.